Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Richard, I'm Nigerian and I review Pakistani dramas. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at episode 5 of Barzakh. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're interested in these reviews, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. A lot of stuff happened in this episode, but I feel like in comparison to some of the other episodes, especially the last episode, episode 4, which was amazing, the storytelling in this episode was a bit all over the place. Sometimes it wasn't as smooth as it should have been. And I feel like for such an important episode, this is probably the most important episode because a lot of stuff was revealed to us. I would have liked if the storytelling was a bit more, it had a better pace to it and wasn't as messy. Maybe it's just me, I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's just what I thought about the episode. But as I said, very important episode. We now know why Jafar is refusing to take back everything he did, why he built on top of the graves of the ancestors, and why he is not apologetic about it. It is all about betrayal and revenge, and now everything makes more sense. At the beginning of the episode, we see that Lambadar, or Jabar, he becomes very radicalized after Jafar leaves him and his mother to go to the city to make a name for himself. You can see that it really hurts Lambadar a lot, and he starts reading the Book of Nowhere and becomes very radicalized by it, to the point that the villagers start to follow his interpretation of the book. We also see again that Mahtab was pregnant with Jafar's child, and we know that in the Book of Nowhere there was a prophecy about a child. But I think Lambadar's interpretation of this prophecy was that this child would be an illegitimate child, and that would bring bad luck or bring curses to the land. And once he found out that Mahtab was pregnant with his brother's child, he concluded that this was the child that was being talked about in the prophecy, and something had to be done about it. So because of that, he goes to tell the villagers that Mahtab is pregnant, and obviously they have to kill her because this is a case of honor killing. And I think jealousy played a role here. Lambadar was definitely jealous because it almost seemed as though he may have had some feelings for Mahtab as well, the way they were showing it. But I think the fact that his brother left, and the fact that his brother had a romantic interest and now a child with this person, I think Lambadar was feeling alone as a child, and so those feelings of jealousy were intensified, and that's why he did what he did. Because the most important letter that Mahtab wrote, letting Jafar know that she's pregnant with his child, after she gave it to Lambadar to deliver to his brother, he refused to do it. And that singular action is the reason for all the chaos that has happened since that time. But we see that after the villagers carried out the honor killing, everything just started to go wrong in the village. The next day, 12 of the villagers died. But I think that this theme of honor killing is quite interesting here. This is a creative way to speak against honor killing, because everything that has gone wrong in the village is because of honor killing. So the villagers who were responsible for doing the honor killing, they died. And then their children started getting called into the land of the fairies. Honor killing had been happening in this village for a long time. Think of how many girls got killed in the village, maybe because they were pregnant, or they just did not adhere to the standards in the house, the societal norms and practices. And so I think this is the director's way of talking about honor killing, but saying that there should be consequences for that outdated way of thinking. And if you want to think even deeper about symbolism in this drama, think of the fact that Aka built Mahtab Mahal. So that is his way of keeping Mahtab alive. This building is his way of keeping her alive. And he built the building on top of the graves of the ancestors. So symbolically, it means that Mahtab is still alive because of that building, and she is standing on top of the graves of the ancestors who are buried beneath her, even though in real life they were the ones who killed her. And it's funny because we also see that she was carried to the land of the fairies. She didn't really die anyway. So she is alive in more than one way. And I think that's a very interesting piece of symbolism that they showed in this drama. And also on this theme of honor killing, it opens up a bigger conversation about men who are making decisions at the expense of women. And that is where Taslim, the elderly lady, that's where she really comes into play. Because the scene where she's talking to, I think, I'm not sure who it was, but one of the ancestors, she's really blaming him and other men for targeting women who go against societal norms. And she talks about how they misinterpret the Book of Nowhere for their own convenience. And that's very interesting, because if you think of how a lot of people interpret religion these days, people like to pick and choose what is convenient for them. And so I think that's what this is talking about. Symbolically, it's showing that people like to just misinterpret words sometimes, or just use it for their own convenience, and because of that there will be consequences. I know some people may not like the idea of that symbolism, but remember that Barzakh is not necessarily a religious show. It does not necessarily represent one religion's views or practices. It's just telling a story in a vague setting. But later in the episode, we see that Taslim also plays another big role, because she's the one who gives Jafar the letters that Lambadar refused to give him from Matab. And that is where Jafar learns that it was his own brother that betrayed him. The whole time he had known that the villagers had killed Matab, but he did not know the role that Lambadar played in that whole issue. So now this is another layer of betrayal for Aka, and he's probably thinking in his mind that he was very justified to do what he did. But now it's even more personal for him, because his brother was the one involved. And towards the end of the episode, we see Lambadar's punishment, I think you can call it, where the angels around the tree, they join hands to create this energy in the tree, and everybody else is able to leave the hotel, but Lambadar is locked in the hotel and he is kind of tormented. I think that is like his own punishment, not being able to escape. It's sort of like the angels are forcing him to live with the reality of what he started, what he created. And with Lambadar locked in the hotel, the rest of them, Aka especially, could go to the mountain to do his wedding, which is what Lambadar was trying to stop him from doing. In this episode, we also see that Haris is missing. He's on his own journey looking for answers after he found out how his mother died. Is he going to crack some code in the last episode? I don't know. But more importantly, I think it's very nice to see how concerned Shahryar is, because that is a parallel. His own father, Aka, wasn't really concerned for him, but you can see that Shahryar is trying to be a good father, a supportive father for his own son. And so with everything that's going on in Matab Mahal and everywhere, the apocalypse, all this stuff, Shahryar is just concerned about finding his son. And I think that's a beautiful symbolic scenario that we have there. Now, the big question in this episode, and for me, a very frustrating part of this episode, at the end of the episode, why did Aka change his mind? We see them going up to the mountain to look for Haris and for Aka to do his wedding, and all of a sudden, he just changes his mind and decides he doesn't want to go anymore. The whole drama has been about Aka wanting to do this wedding, and he has made everybody's life hell, and all of a sudden, he changes his mind when he is about to go on the mountain. But if you notice, when he was going on the mountain, he sees a vision of himself and Matab under the tree when they were young. And he remembers Matab's words where she basically told him that they are one. Their souls are one. And I think that sparked a change in his mind, because he realized when they were younger together, they were not married, but they were so connected. They really were one. As we have seen, he really loved her a lot and still loves her that much, even without being married. So I think for him, he has realized that, oh, I don't have to marry her in the spirit world or whatever to be one with her again. I have been one with her this whole time. And I think that is why he changes his mind, because he realizes that he has caused so much drama over this thing. He has ruined a lot of his relationships because he wants to do this thing. And he has just learned that there's no point of doing this. He can still be one with Matab even without being married. I like that revelation. I think it's a very important and beautiful realization for Aka to have. But I just feel like it was a bit rushed. You know, he's created so much drama, and then all of a sudden when he's on the mountain, he says no. I mean, I think they could have taken a bit more time to show us that he may maybe change his mind down the line, but it was just very sudden. overall, not a bad episode. As I said at the beginning, I just wish some points could be a bit more, they could take their time to explain things. And I think this is the issue you have with a lot of dramas that are very symbolic and mystical. When it comes to, like, it's almost getting to the end where so many things are happening, it can start to get a bit messy. And I remember I said in the first episode of Barzakh, the review that I did, I said I was hoping that as the show goes on, a lot of these mystical elements will not get too distracting. But I felt personally in this episode, they started to get a bit just not too focused, and that was a bit annoying for me. But overall, very important episode, decent episode as well. I'm really hoping that the final episode will be a very good episode, because this is a drama that deserves a good ending. It's beautiful cinematography, beautiful storytelling. I really just hope that they can stick the landing with the last episode, but we will just have to wait and see. So that is it for episode 5 of Barzakh. Please let me know your comments in the comment section. Let's discuss this show. Tell me what you're enjoying. Tell me what you're not enjoying. Tell me what you think about the show, about my reviews, everything. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.